Former President Donald Trump is set to arrive in New York City later today, ahead of his arraignment out of Manhattan Courthouse tomorrow.
This is a live look at his plane down in Palm Beach at the International Airport, which is expected to depart around noon.
That's right. Heading our way. Alexandria Hoff is following the developments from our nation's capital. Alexandria, good morning.
Well, good morning. Yeah, former President Trump is planning a quick round trip to New York, then right back to Florida, writing on social media that he's going to leave Mar-a-Lago again at noon today before being formally arrested tomorrow. He adds there, America was not supposed to be this way. Now, this follows Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's 34-count indictment against the former president. That indictment does remain sealed, so we don't know the specific charges. According to the Associated Press and their sources, though, this includes at least one felony. Trump's attorney said yesterday that he expects to make a motion to dismiss.
We will take the indictment. We will dissect it. The team will look at every potential issue that we will be able to challenge, and we will challenge. And of course, I very much anticipate a motion to dismiss coming because there's no law that fits this.
Now, for days, groups of mostly supporters have been rallying around Mar-a-Lago. At the same time, the New York Police Department, they've been installing these barricades outside of the Manhattan courthouse. The department says that officers have been placed on alert and are ready to respond in the event of protests. At the same time, the former president's lawyers may be gearing up for a challenge to a move that could potentially bar the former president from talking about the case. The Daily Mail cited an unnamed source in reporting, quote, the Trump legal team now thinks that the Manhattan judge will take the unprecedented step of silencing the presidential frontrunner with an unconstitutional gag order tomorrow. Breaking the order could trigger a fine of $1,000 and a prison sentence of as much as 30 days. Now, Fox News has not independently confirmed this, but if a gag order were to be put into place, that could disrupt a speech that the former president intends to make tomorrow night after returning to Mar-a-Lago. Steve, Ainsley, Brian.
That's right. Alexandria, thank you very much. So the former president said yesterday that he would make a speech tomorrow at 8:15 after he is arrested and arraigned here in New York City. But if there is a gag order, wonder what will happen, because as you have seen ever since he was, we heard news of the indictment, he has been talking about the judge and it's a witch hunt and stuff like that. What's interesting is Donald Trump and his own lawyer are not on the same page, because Joe Tacopino does not refer to it as this guy as the judge who's going to preside over this one merchant. He says, I don't think the judge is biased at all. I think he's going to be fair.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what the Trump attorney says about the judge in the case.
The judge is the same one who presided over the criminal tax fraud case against the Trump organization, and that cost the organization $1.6 million in fines. So we'll see. The president, you're right, the former president does not agree with Tacopino on that issue, because he tweeted this out on Truth Social. He said, the corrupt DA has no case. What he does have is a venue where it's impossible for me to get a fair trial. It must be changed. And a Trump-hating judge, hand-selected by the Soros-backed DA, he must be changed. Also has the DOJ working in the DA's office. Unprecedented.
So the question is, there's so many questions, one of which I could see the lawyers kind of being, his lawyers being happy if the gag order came down. Because if you do violate the gag order, you get jail. They'll just round you up and put you in jail. That'll be out of everybody's hands. So that might, the president not speaking about the case probably works to his advantage. But the president does what he always does, and he likes to work the rest.
It's going to be hard for him to not talk about it.
But here's an example. Like, what would the gag order look like? Would it be, I can't bring a specific to the case? You go, well, if he says they're doing something terrible to me in New York City, can't talk about it. We're ready to fight. Is that a violation? And the other question is about the mugshot. They say traditionally, I didn't know this, you don't put out mugshots. They don't put out mugshots in New York City. Will they put this one out? Does Trump even want it out?
Well, you remember what Pete Hegseth said. He said this will be the campaign T-shirt, spread around the country if he does have a mugshot. Yeah,
absolutely.
He's going to walk through the front door and walk out through the front door of the courthouse. Yeah. So we were expecting maybe that tunnel underneath the courthouse, but no. They're saying
and the question is, what's in the indictment? So is the indictment going to include anything about a payment to Karen McDougal? Is it going to be any type of the Playboy mate that evidently got some
$130,000
catch and kill story on the Inquirer. You're right, Ainsley. Also, is Bragg going to show an intent to defraud when it comes to falsifying business records? And, you know, just listening to all the legal aspects, this was already tried in civil court. You know, you got to find, he took the fifth in a bunch of things where he was advised to do it, and it was charged in civil court. Now to bring that down, say intent to defraud. Well, who? The banks aren't complaining. Who's intent to defraud? Right. The things that he got, the things that he paid, a fine was done. So this is the judge. I do understand how we would have some reservations about it, too, because this is the same judge that was all over Steve Bannon for his build the walls thing that he was doing privately that got himself in trouble and he got pardoned for. He was the one who put his CFO in jail in Rikers Island, a 75-year-old. Look at what was there. Is a joke how stiffly he was sentenced. So I do understand it. Tactically, I don't know how it works to his benefit to bring it up.
Well, and here's the thing. We don't know what the charges are going to be, and we won't know until tomorrow after he is arraigned. Yesterday I was in Palm Beach on Palm Sunday, and as I was flying out, I saw Trump Force One screen left right there. The doors were open. It looks like it's got a new paint job, and they've got a new flag on the back tail, which is something new. And it was exactly where they always parked Air Force One when he was president of the United States. Now, got to explain, one of the reasons that Donald Trump has been talking about the judge and the DA is because they're trying to get a change of venue. Here in Manhattan, like 90% of the people who are registered are Democrats. He would like a change of venue into the more Republican-friendly Staten Island. That is not going to happen, but at least he can ask. Meanwhile, Mark Levin on last night, he doesn't like anything that's happening.
It's time for we, the people who love this country, the people who are patriots, it is time for Republicans, moderate Democrats, independents, people of goodwill, to stand up and be heard. Of course, I'm not talking about violence. That's the other side. I'm talking about democracy. I'm talking about the founding of this nation. You look at these issues that are being raised against Donald Trump. It's not about the law. It's not about taxes. It's not about business filings and did he put a issue in the right credit or debit column or anything of the sort. This is an effort to destroy Donald Trump. Our civil liberties are under attack. The Democrat Party is attacking separation of powers. They reject the Constitution and the people who wrote it unless they can use it to attack it. The Democrat Party is a tyrannical party that is dragging this country into tyranny.
Meanwhile, when it comes to timing, when will this trial occur? Well, if you read there were a bunch of stories yesterday that said that a common Donald Trump tactic is to delay an appeal. His lawyers will ask for all sorts of delays, but the judge in the case has made it very clear he wants to see this before a jury before the election.
The problem is Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen is still lying. He's lying about, he went to jail for his tax returns, falsifying tax records. Goes, oh, no, I didn't do that. No, you admitted to it. So the stuff that you admitted to, that you said you're a reformed man, you're now backtracking off. And the more interviews he does, the better Trump's case looks.
This is all based on what Michael Cohen has said.
It is.
And he went to prison for lying.
And he's still lying.
Yeah. Okay, so Trump arrives today, the arraignment's tomorrow afternoon, and then he's flying straight back to Mar-a-Lago and will be speaking at 8:15 tomorrow night.
Maybe, unless there's a gag order.
He says he's going to, but if there's a gag order, maybe he'll speak in a roundabout way. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. We'll see.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.